Hey everyone, it's Queenie Deerheart here, aka Chimi the Fox. I'm doing a little how-to video today because I promised you that I would do one. Yes, I'm just about to go home after being in Las Vegas for the week, and a lot of you asked how you fly with a fursuit. Now, I should point out here, Chimi is of course a partial. So this is his head. This is his big new second generation big bushy tail. Here are his arms, and over here we have his hat and his paws and my gloves that I wear when I wear him, and of course the slicker brush and a mouse so I can play Overwatch. Just ignore that. Well, the first thing you need to do when you're preparing your fursuit for travel is to make sure that you have a suitcase big enough. Now, this one is a nice German, what do they call it? A Hauptstadtkoffer, which is basically a brand of hard shell suitcases. I like the hard shell suitcases because they can be thrown around and they retain the same shape pretty much all the time. And that helps make sure that your head stays safe. Now, I should also add a disclaimer here, which is that Chimi is a foam-based head, and I would only ever do this for a foam-based head, and as I've never owned a resin head, honestly, I wouldn't know how you fly with a resin head or travel with a resin head. So please don't take my advice for that. So first things first is make sure that your fursuit is dry and not smelly, i.e. if you've been wearing your fursuit and you're just coming home from a convention, make sure that your fursuit is not all hot and sweaty and smelly. And also make sure that if you can, that when you put your fursuit in your suitcase, that your clothes are also reasonably clean, not smelly and stuff. Now, I have a washing machine here in this apartment that I've been renting this week. Yes, that's my underwear, get used to it. So I'm going to put all my underwear and workout gear and stuff in the top of my suitcase as I would normally. Oops. Just to add a bit of stuff at the top. I probably added a bit too much there, so let's take some of that out and put it in there. Swimming gear, blah, blah, blah. Zip that up like so. The idea is that you want to create a cushion in your suitcase that your fursuit head sits in. And obviously he's not going to go in that way because his ears would poke out the top of the suitcase. He's not going to go in that way because his nose would poke out. But if you rotate the head so it's at about 45 degrees, you'll see it doesn't actually take up a lot of space. So what I tend to do when I'm putting him in the suitcase is to get some clothes, socks, anything really, and I pad that in. But before I do that, I'm going to grab my gloves because they will go inside the head. The balaclava that I wear when I have him, which will go inside the head. His hat can go inside the head too. And his paws can also go inside there. Use the space available and tuck your neck pieces in like so. And then it's just a case of packing around him so that he can't roll around in your suitcase. So you just literally, under armour there, you just pack him in so that he is close to the chin. It's nice, and a little bit at the sides, like so. And then what I tend to do with the tail is this tail folds up really nicely, and I can just put that down the bottom to provide some extra cushioning to the top of his face. And obviously the important thing here is to make sure that his ears are not going to fly back, and he's not going to rock backwards and forwards when he's in his case. So I'll just roll up my Under Armour and put in there. Now, I need to go and get some more clothes to put in there, so I'll be right back. Now the idea is to use your clothes as a bit of a cushion so that your fursuit head is nice and snug as a bug in a rug. You will note that I have kept the arms out, so I'll put the arms in as well. And again, you should really brush these out first if you're going on a long trip. I'm probably going to repack this after I've done the video, so I'm just going to pop them in like so. And make sure that they go down nicely. Then I'm going to grab these. These are the usual luggage things, and I actually pass it over the top of his nose so that I'm not like pulling on his nose or anything weird, and then I attach it here. So it's away from his mouth and his nose, away from his ears. There's no kind of strange pressing down at any point. You'll see he's now nicely in the suitcase, and you can fill in the gaps as need be. So I'm going to use this lovely top that I never actually wore this week and tuck that under that ear. And make sure that the ears are nice and flat. Then, once that's all done, you can actually just put the head, you can just actually put the suitcase over as you would normally. And you'll see that he is snug as a bug as a rug. Now, the thing you need to bear in mind here is that you don't want to get the fur trapped. So make sure that your fur is not going to get caught in the zips, because otherwise bad things will happen. Now, this suitcase is actually an expanding suitcase, as you can see. But I've actually got it in the non-expanded setting because I've got tons of room in there. I'm actually going to add some more things in a minute, but that's pretty much it. If you've got hard things like wings or things that can't be easily folded up, obviously you're going to have to treat it slightly differently, but you can see I've still got a little bit of space in there. So when I'm done making this video, I will pad out the rest of the suitcase so that he's nicely padded, not hard padded, nicely padded. And then, of course, when you get to the other end, you just undo your suitcase. Try not to leave your fursuit in your suitcase for a long period of time. Obviously, when you get to the other end, your fursuit should still be in one piece. Now, I have forgotten one little thing that I always put in my fursuit when I'm traveling with him. Where is it? His name badge, because the TSA and other people around the world who are responsible for keeping us safe in the air do like to look in suitcases, especially if they see something a bit weird on the scan. And a fursuit head is probably in the category of a bit weird, so I always leave a name tag clearly visible so that somebody going through knows what to call him. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go and pack properly now. Like, comment, subscribe if you did indeed like it. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down, tell me why, blah, blah, blah. In fact, I'm curious. I'm working on some more videos for Chimi's channel for the rest of the year. I'm also considering a name change for myself because I've realised that Queenie Deerheart is as much of a character that I play as Chimichanga the Fox, and it's kind of confusing for my friends and people in the fandom to call me Queenie and also to have a character called Queenie. So I might need a new fan name. So have a think and see if you can come up with a cool one. I'll be back next week with more videos, probably with him. But until then, have a great weekend. And if you're flying with your fursuit, stay safe. Bye.